Welcome back into the Cowboys Report for the second time today as we've got some news. The Cowboys made the move everyone wanted, right? Maybe not everyone. The punter is back. Bryan Anger has agreed to a rather hefty, for a punter, contract to re-sign with the Dallas Cowboys as Anger is here for the next couple of years, although we don't know the guaranteed money. It's a 3-year deal for Anger worth $9 million. Anger was one of the best punters in 2022, and now he's getting paid like one of the best punters in the entire NFL. And Anger was really good last season. And I am conflicted overall here in terms of my thought process in terms of the good and bad of Bryan Anger. He's good at what he does. They spent some money. Also, it's a punter. Is that the best move to do? So we will... I'm going to talk through it throughout today's show, and I want to start with the positive side of it here, right? He was great last year. Anger was, I would argue, the best punter. If not the best, he was at minimum top 3 in the entire NFL. A franchise record, 44.6 net average. That is just in factoring in the returns, how far each punt was. The average was 48.4. He pinned 24 punts inside the 20 and 4 touchbacks. He was great last year. A big-time glow-up for a player that nobody wanted last year. He was a cheap free agency signing because I am a member of Team Never Pay Punters. That's what I've been in my time covering the NFL. And the rationale is not about, oh, you shouldn't even roster a punter, although I do kind of joke about that. It's that I would focus on more important positions, avoid punting, making the other team punt a little bit more, and it is a very replaceable position. At the same time, it's $3 million. It's not that bad. And he's a really good punter. So if you feel the need to punt or you're forced to punt, okay. Also, sometimes I worry having a good punter makes teams overly cautious about, fourth down decisions. So Anger is great at his job, objectively speaking. It's maybe a bit of a bad look when you're paying your punter $3 million and you had a tough time getting your safety, your really, really good safety, even to $5 million. That's a potential problem there. So I am very curious how you guys vote on this one. Do you like the re-signing of Bryan Anger? Type in Y for yes or type in N for no. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. While the ad plays, go down there and fight everybody and type in Y for yes or N for no. I'm going to hold off for now. Cowards way out, I acknowledge it, even though I am the founding member of No Cowards Allowed. I got to see the guaranteed money. My mindset of don't pay punters, don't pay kickers, is that you should not invest in positions that, historically speaking, are rather inconsistent, that they ebb and flow from year to year. I always want competition. If you guarantee a bunch of money for Bryan Anger and you're sitting there and then he's bad next year, well, now you look really dumb. I don't think he'll be bad next year, but I also saw Chris Jones go from great to bad and Dan Bailey go from great to bad really quickly. I do not want to invest that type of commitment to a kicker or a punter outside of a few exceptions. And, maybe Bryan Anger is one of those exceptions now, but he's also going to be 34, I believe, this year. It's kind of old for a player once drafted a couple picks before Russell Wilson. And in the end, I could have taken that $3 million and paid Bradley Bozeman. That's not the worst idea out there. Or I could have taken it and instead of giving Dante Fowler big money, I could have upgraded it at edge rusher a little bit more. So I think that they've brought him back in terms of being able to keep him on the roster because Randy Gray was there. And I'll say this point too. I wonder if Bryan Anger had the exact same year outside of the Cowboys organization, would they have paid him what they just did? I'm not so sure, but they do like their guys after all. This is the second Cowboys Report video of the day. We broke down some top free agent targets earlier today. That's still available on the channel, not like we deleted it or anything. So if you haven't already, go check it out and make sure you're subscribed because when stuff happens, we tend to do multiple videos each and every single day for you. Let's look at the punting leaders from last year. A.J. Cole averaged 50 yards per punt. That's awesome, by the way. Jack Fox, 49.2. Andy Lee, 49.0. Tress Way, 44. You guys have no idea who these players are. I know that. There's a reason why I'm doing this. The net leaders. Bryan Anger led the NFL at 44.6. Logan Cook for the Jags. Sam Martin. Johnny Hekker, who was just cut, by the way, by the Rams, ended up in Carolina. A.J. Colt was 42.5. Those were, you could probably say in whatever order you want to make them, 5 of your best punters in the NFL. The highest paid punter in the NFL wasn't on that list. You see my concern here, right? What if Bryan Anger regresses to 2019? Now you're paying premium for a position where you got average play. I think you could have found the punter out there on the open market. It's fine, I guess. It's not like you're throwing $5 million at the punter. But when the news first came out, and I asked this on YouTube, on Twitter, hey, what's the most you would pay Bryan Anger per year? About 90% of you guys had a number under $3 million. You didn't want to pay that type of money to a punter who ideally never plays for you in a game. That's the goal, and that's worrisome to me if you want to pay top 3 money in a position where ideally you never have to use them. You will use them, we know that, but how much insurance premium do you want to pay? So grade the move here for me. Then we're going to talk about Bobby Wagner in a second. A, B, C, D, or F. Grade the re-signing, 3 years, $9 million. No news on the guaranteed as we film this right now to keep Bryan Anger as the Cowboys punter. And we're also on Rumble, folks. We are still trailing our Giants channel, and the Raiders channel makes us look really bad, by the way. But if you want uncensored, unfiltered, which includes F-bombs, Cowboys news, and analysis, go follow us. Help support the channel. Help me feed my family by following us on Rumble at rumble.com/CowboysTV. I'll make sure that link is high in the comment section and in the description as well. Maybe good news on Bryan Anger for some of you. Yeah, not good news here on Bobby Wagner. Some updates coming down moments before the news of the of the Bryan Anger signing. Was it a leak by the Cowboys? Maybe. Michael Gelkin says there is no momentum between the Cowboys and Bobby Wagner. The two sides have been in contact. They've spoken, but signing Wagner is unlikely and a long shot. Simply put, because the Cowboys like our guys. They don't believe in spending money on outside free agents. Never mind the illogical fallacy of being willing to pay your own free agents and not outside guys, because you don't want to pay a premium in the open market, even though they've hit the open market and are thus free agents. That doesn't matter to the Cowboys. They were burned by the Brandon Carr contract, which, by the way, wasn't actually that bad. Wasn't terrible for Dallas. He wasn't elite by any stretch of the imagination, but he didn't suck. He was just a good number 2. Like, that's your bad deal. It's not that bad, but the Cowboys are convinced it's terrible. So the Bobby Wagner dream feels kind of dead. We all asked Stephen Jones, hey, Stephen, can we have Bobby Wagner? Stephen said we got Bobby Wagner at home, and that's Leighton Vander Esch at home. So give me your one-word reaction to the Cowboys, apparently, and maybe they'll change their tune, or the market won't be there for Wagner. It'll come in at maybe $6 million, which is all the Cowboys would spend on the open market because they're cheap when it comes to free agency. Give me one-word reaction to this news. Mine's classic. I can't live life not being at least a little bit hopeful. Like, that's just a really sad way of going about it. I wasn't overly hopeful the Cowboys could get Bobby Wagner, but I don't want to sit here every March going, well, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to be boring, and they're going to re-sign. So I can't live that way. I can't do it. But it is pretty classic Cowboys. I do think linebacker is still an area of need for this organization. You've re-signed Leighton Vander Esch. Probably want him as your linebacker 3. Maybe Jabril Cox ends up being that guy and steps up. But you're going to use Micah Parsons as a hybrid edge rusher like you should be doing. If he doesn't play edge, fire the organization into the sun. But at least some edge. But I'm still looking for help here. So without Bobby Wagner, as we broke down earlier today with our full free agency list, here are some other linebacker targets. Anthony Barr, I think his market is down, but it still might be a bit higher than what the Cowboys want, but he's a bigger name on this list. I would love Kaiser White. Again, it's an outside free agent. He probably doesn't fit the older buy low players that the Cowboys like, but I think he'd be a great Keanu Neal replacement. Anthony Hitchens is kind of our guy, isn't he? a reunion, even though he's a backup linebacker. He's not someone you want starting consistently in the NFL. Don't let the tackle numbers fool you. That's a lie. A.J. Johnson, Alexander Johnson, the Broncos linebacker. I could do it. Coming off the injury. Could be a decent buy low fit. And K.J. Wright, who so many of us wanted last year, even though they were kind of loaded at linebacker, but now Keanu Neal's gone and Jalen's gone. Wright wasn't great for the Raiders. Kind of think his time has passed him by. So I would wonder if the Cowboys' linebacker plan is maybe draft someone top 100 and not add any more free agents.